Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Padaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sandhivani Paschati this time. Tanya, can you find in Chaitanya Charitamrita where it describes the first verse that describes, well, there's a chapter on the advent of Mahaprabhu, but there may be preliminary verses that lead up to. Anyway, you just let me know the chapter, the advent. What I thought we could do, because we are 18 days away from the appearance of Mahaprabhu. And as we know, when we get into a topic, we can go very deeply into it. In 1 or 2 days is not enough. Usually on Gaur Purnima, we have one lecture that day. In Mayapur, they had a festival about maybe a week or so, or 10 days before Gaur Purnima, they had a festival. And there would be different classes leading up to it. So I think that's nice. We can get absorbed. And we learn in slow degrees. So it's good to study something and then review it and then go further, review it, go further, review it, go further. And what we already know, we'll tend to know better. And then we will learn what we don't know, and then we will learn it better. There's a breadth of knowledge that means you know more, and there's a depth of knowledge, which means you know more about what you know. And sometimes we know a lot of things, but we don't know them that well. And also, because the spiritual has no limitation in terms of its depth, it's not that you can just get to a point where you understand it. But one of the things I would like to focus on today as we begin discussing Mahaprabhu is to put our discussion, at least now, put it in the context of appreciation of who Mahaprabhu is, why he came and what he did. Because one of the big challenges we have as devotees, as conditioned souls trying to become devotees, is our appreciation is very much towards material things, which is one of the reasons that sometimes we find we don't have so much attraction for chanting or other spiritual activities. And we have natural attraction for material activities. It's very easy to do things that we're materially conditioned to do. And appreciation, you could say we appreciate material things, which is why we like doing them, which is why they're easy to do. And so if we switch that into developing appreciation for spiritual things, then the same thing will happen. We'll naturally want to do them, which is really important, especially because Mahaprabhu's greatest gift is the holy name. And so it's really unfortunate if we don't appreciate it. And of course, Mahaprabhu in the second verse of Shishastakam, playing the part of a conditioned soul, says, he says, I appreciate that you've given the holy name and you are in the holy name, but I'm unfortunate, so I don't have any attraction. So we can make our unfortunate selves, we can do something to make ourselves fortunate. Just because fortune is given doesn't mean you become fortunate. Just because I give you seeds doesn't mean you plant them. So Mahaprabhu is taking this position. I don't have any attraction for chanting the holy name. That's my misfortune due to my past conditioning and sinful activity. And the next verse is how to become attracted, become humble. When we become humble, we'll be able to chant constantly. So he's saying, okay, this is our conditioned state, Krishna, you've done your part, but I'm not attracted. And so the third verse is, this is how I will become attracted. So yesterday, a devotee was asking me for blessings. And I said, blessings are like seeds, but you also have to bless yourself. And so I give you the seed. Now you have to bless yourself by planting the seed, watering it, putting it in the right environment, the right amount of light or shade as that plant needs. And so it's true that we depend on the blessings, but blessings are seeds for our practice. If you don't have the seed, then there's nothing to water, right? You water the ground and you just get weeds. So it works both ways. And Prabhupada was asked, how does one become a devotee? He said, intelligent and fortunate. So fortune means, fortune is, it's double. Fortune is that I've been given fortune and I've taken advantage of the fortune. If I'm given fortune and I don't take advantage, I'm not fortunate. Potentially fortunate, but not. The fortune is not being fully realized, like kinetic energy and potential energy. You want to make potential fortune, kinetic fortune. So appreciation, if we appreciate the gifts of Mahaprabhu, I think it's going to help us tremendously. It's like if you're a child and someone shows you a diamond, to you, diamond, crystal, glass is pretty much the same. It's just glass, it just shines more. But diamonds are special because they're rare. Glass is not special because it's not rare. If glass were rare and diamonds weren't, then glass would be special, right? And so when someone shows you something and says it's rare, then you think, oh, this is really valuable. It's rare. If it's not rare, it's like, well, why are you showing this to me? This is just ordinary. It's just a piece of glass. Glass is everywhere. So what I'd like to do is help us understand the rarity of Mahaprabhu, especially his mood and his gifts, because that's going to help us. And so if we understand, in theory, if we understand more clearly the rarity of something, that we've been given it and it's very rare, and we have to learn how to use it. Otherwise, the benefit of it doesn't really work. And that's important. It's important to know how to use the gifts of Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, we think because we've been given the gifts, we're benefiting. But although that's true, if we don't know how to use them, we don't benefit very much. As with anything, I can give you something valuable. If you don't know how to use it, okay, you're fortunate you have it. But if you don't know how to use it, you can't. You ever have a software program and that software program can create universes, but you don't know how to use it. So you do, you just use it for word processing, and your friend comes, you know what you could do with this software? You could calculate how many grains of sand there are on the beach. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, it has this app here. You do, So it's something like that. I'm speaking from experience with synthesizers, because synthesizers are quite complex, and most people use like 1% of what the synthesizer can do, because it's just, if you're not a nerd, it's just mind-boggling. So it's something like that. You have this amazing $5,000 synthesizer. You know what it does? Oh, it plays music, I guess. No, you could program it this way and then layer 7 instruments and do all these things. Oh, I didn't know that. So I think we're going to like open the hood of the synthesizer. That's what I'd like to do, at least attempt to do. So with the coming of Kali Yuga, Mahaprabhu appears. And once in a day of Brahma, his appearance is different. He is appearing in a different aspect, in a different mood, with a different mission, for a different reason. So you can say, okay, he's coming to establish Yuga Dharma. That's what he does. Okay. The Yuga Dharma, to chant the holy name. But we learn from Shastra that Mahaprabhu had another idea. He thought, well, I have to come and establish a Yuga Dharma, as I do that every Kali Yuga. Yada yada hi dharmasya. But I also want to understand why Radha loves me so much. It's driving me crazy. I can't, she's experiencing more bliss than I am, and I'm God. And I want to experience that, and I want to understand it. And I want to distribute what she's feeling, and I want to give that to everybody. And these things are different than what he does normally when he comes. So when Kali Yuga comes around again, he's not going to do that. He's just going to give the chanting of Hare Krishna, and that will take you to Vaikuntha, and that's about it. That's what you get, and no Mahabhav, and no experiencing and distributing Radha's Bhav, none of that. And so that's a day of Brahma, which is, I think it comes out to 634 million years. You know, a million years is a long time. Even 1 year is sometimes a long time. Even 10 minutes is a long time if you're at the dentist getting your teeth drilled. So, isn't it? 10 minutes at the dentist is like, 1,000 years. So if you take a million years, think about a million years, right? So we go back in history, and the scientists say, the prehistoric man, 40,000 years, and we think, well, 40,000 years, that's such a long time. Yeah. So multiply 40,000 by 200, and then you get a million, or 250, right? And then take that million and multiply that 100 times, and you get a billion, and then multiply that by 8.6, and then you get a day of Brahma, 8,632,000,000. And how many lives will you get out of that? Like, 900,000 lives. So every 900,000 lives we have, Lord Chaitanya comes. If you miss him now, got to wait 900,000 lifetimes. Of course, you can come back and call you here, but just for dramatic effect, so we get the time frame. For our sojourn in the material world, we can say, if we live 900 million lives, it's a lot of lives. 900 million lives, that would be at 100 years each, about, if I'm doing my math correctly, that'd be like 8 billion. Did I do my math correctly? Something like that. Anyway, it's a lot of lives. That's my head is calculating about 8 or 900,000. Yeah. Anyway, we'll work with 900. Excuse me. No, 900 million. We'll work with 900 million lives. That's what it is. This is a lot of lives. And then after you wait 900 million lives, Mahaprabhu comes, gives you the holy name, and you say, I don't really like chanting. This is too hard. I'll just, let's go back in the cycle, take another 900 million lives, maybe next time. That, of course, we don't say that and we don't think that, but I'm trying to put it in perspective. This is, in other words, what you have now is not something that happens often. That is not something that many living entities get to be. You're in the right place at the right time. You just won a trip back to Godhead for the first time in 900 million lives. I don't know. Let me think about it. Sounds kind of, you got to chant 2 hours a day. I don't know if I could do that. Yeah. Stupid, right? Of course. But that's our conditioning. Nanuraga, Mahaprabhu says, I know this is a good deal, but I don't know if I can do it. So it's rare. That's the point I'm making. It's rare. It's rare to get a human life. And obviously more rare to get a human life, 50 years or 30 years or 20 years or 10 years after the Hare Krishna movement began in your country. That's like, it's pretty amazing. So then we think about the incarnations of Krishna. They come to establish Dharma, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Dharma samstarpanat. They come to establish Dharma. And Bhagavatam just begins where the Gita ends. Krishna, takes you through the whole Gita and Krishna says, I've taught you so many things, but The real thing is just try to love me. And that's the conclusion. And then the Bhagavatam begins by showing us the devotees who love Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada said that 1866, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja, and chanting Hare Krishna are the same, because chanting Hare Krishna will give you love. 1866, really Krishna is saying, you don't have to do karma, you don't have to do gyan, you don't have to do dhyan, you don't have to do this and that, buddhi yoga, karma yoga. No, just love me, just be a bhakta and love me. That's what I want. And so if you chant Hare Krishna, that's what you'll get. And so chanting Hare Krishna is translated into 1866, just surrender to Krishna. Well, how do you surrender to Krishna in Kali Yuga? Well, it's pretty easy. Can you follow 4 principles and chant Hare Krishna? All right, we'll wait, buy it now, and you don't have to follow 4 principles. You can pay later with the 4 principles, just chant now. That's basically what it's saying. Because we don't go on the street, here's a Hare Krishna mantra, and if you want to chant it, make sure you follow these 4 principles. We don't say that, we just say chant. Because obviously, most people aren't following those principles, but if they chant, then they'll become purified. And then they'll be able to follow the 4 principles. So you've probably heard this told before. Krishna came, he spoke Bhagavad Gita, he did his lila. And then you ever give a class and you think, okay, if the students in my class do what I say, they're going to make a lot of advancement. And then, a week or 2 later, you follow up with the students and nobody's doing what you say. And they're all just, oh, this Maya is really strong. Yeah, but I told you how to get out of Maya. Yeah, but, I got up late, this morning and I couldn't chant and I got busy and you're just frustrated. So, and now what do? You need a new strategy. It's like, well, they can't do what I said. So all right, come over, we're having pizza and ice cream. Let's talk about I can get them back with pizza and ice cream, and then offer to Krishna's prasadam, and maybe there's hope we can do it another way, Maybe we'll have a rock band and they'll chant Hare Krishna, then they'll dance and chant. So Krishna, he gives the Gita, he does his lila, and then he analyzes the classroom, and it's not working. What he taught's not working. So he's thinking, okay, it's Kali Yuga. As people are kind of dull, they're really, as Bhagavatam says, manda. Bhagavatam's interesting because it predicts Kali Yuga, all the symptoms, and predominant symptom is lazy. But we see people aren't lazy, They're very active. They work hard to make money. They like to do sports, mountain climbing, bike riding. They're quite active. So what manda means is they're lazy spiritually, materially. I mean, some people are just lazy and everything, but most people are pretty active. Most people are enthusiastic about something in their life, but spiritually lazy, apathetic, distracted. So then Krishna's thinking, okay, we got to work around this, because that last class called the Bhagavad Gita class, that didn't really work. Like nobody really got it. They didn't understand it. I thought I made it simple, or maybe they understood it, but they're just too lazy. We have to do something else. So if you go to Adi Lila chapter 7, it describes how Mahaprabhu was like tricking people. It was this whole thing. It's okay, we have to trick them now because, it's like your kid doesn't like spinach. You go, so you make a sweet ball, and it's really their favorite sweet ball, and you put spinach in the middle, but it's so sweet they don't even taste the spinach. And you tell them it's just strawberries with green food coloring or something. Like, okay, and they eat it. And then, so you got them to eat spinach, and they hate spinach, and you never tell them it's spinach, because if you do, they're going to spit it out. But as long as you don't tell them, they like it. Something like that. You don't like spinach, Rasika? Oh, you look like you don't like spinach.
No, I do, but it's funny.
You don't like spinach with sweet ball, right?
Yeah. No.
But this is for the kids who don't like spinach, who like sweet balls. So in Adi Lila 7, there's descriptions of how Mahaprabhu is making plans. all these people who avoid him, we're going to give them Krishna consciousness. We're going to get it in there. We're going to stick it in the sweet ball, and they're going to eat it, and they're going to get it. And like, sometimes people learn about bhakti from devotees, but they don't know the devotee's a devotee, and they find out later. And they go, wait a minute, is this Hare Krishna? It's too late now. They already like it. You ever had that experience? It's like they wouldn't have liked it if they would have known, but they like everything, and then they find out it's Hare Krishna, and they say, this is great. If I knew it was Hare Krishna, I never would have come, but I'm in now. That does happen. Back, the back, they went in the back door. There was no sign Hare Krishna temple. They went in the back door. So, all right. So how are we going to do this? Well, people like to chant. People like to sing. People like to dance. Definitely, right? Everybody likes to sing and dance. We just had a japa retreat this weekend, and the devotees most of the devotees there were young, like in their 20s and early 30s. So they had lots of energy. So they were dancing like mad men and women, as Mahaprabhu did as well. And I was, watching the kirtans. We had a lot of kirtans. So I was watching the kirtans and thinking, yeah, people really like to dance. It's definitely a fact. So Mahaprabhu, he comes with, all right, you like to dance? That's okay. We can check that box. We can get you to dance to the Maha Mantra, and you can dance in glorification of Krishna. And Krishna likes to dance. He dances with the gopis, the cowboys, boys dance. So dancing is fine. We'll dance. And then Krishna meets the Mahaprabhu meets the Mayavadis, and Mayavadis are, you're a sannyasi, why are you dancing? That's like, you're just supposed to sit there and be a geek and study all day and renounce, Why aren't you a geek like us? Like, oh, my guru told me to chant this mantra, it makes me dance. I don't know. I think I've, gone mad or something. And my guru said, no, that madness is the result of chanting. You're doing it right. So Mahaprabhu says, okay, people like to sing and dance, and people like to eat. So we can do that. We got you covered. Check 3 boxes. You like to eat? Everyone that has to eat, not even if you like to, you have to. And you're going to sing and dance anyway. And we'll take this Maha Mantra, it's the same mantra. In case you don't know how to pronounce it, it's mantra. We'll take the Maha Mantra. And we'll spice it up a bit. We'll, as they say in the drug world, they were like spice. Anyway, we'll just say, we'll spice up the Maha. We spiced up your person. The devotees once, you know what happened? Someone put LSD in their prasadam. Did you know that? Like in San Francisco. So the whole temple was like tripping. Hare Krishna. So we're going to take this Maha Mantra, which, normally we'll take you to Vaikuntha, and we'll spice it up with the mood of Radha. So you'll get a free upgrade into Goloka for no extra cost. Well, you didn't even have to pay anyway in the first place. Yeah. So you get upgraded to Goloka, and the ticket's free in the first place. All you have to do is come, take it, and use it. That's all you have to do. You have to work it. Here's the mantra, work it, use it. So Mahaprabhu decides, okay, it's Kali Yuga. Nothing else will work. These people are pretty hopeless. They're still, it's Kali Yuga, and they're still here. And they're still, after 900 million lives, they still haven't figured out that they can't enjoy separate from Krishna. These people are like really losers. We're going to have to make it easy for them. Hare Krishna. How did that make you feel? How did that make you feel? We don't realize how bad we are because everyone in Kali Yuga is bad. So, you can't tell. But if you actually associate with elevated real human beings, then you start to understand. We're of a different species. Hare Krishna. My internet is also manda, is quite lazy, as you can see. I don't know. This internet tests my patience. Hare Krishna. Should I reset? Why don't I reset it? Maybe we'll get lucky, although we generally don't get lucky when I reset it. I would have to restart my computer and hope something good happens. Anyway, you can hear me, right? As long as you can hear me, then. So, so Mahaprabhu, low system resources may affect your audio quality. Try closing some applications. Oh, I think I need a new computer. This is not normal. I think when computers, especially if they're not Macs and they get old, they just kind of like are old cars, all clogged up, and they don't work well. Anyway, so Mahaprabhu says, okay, we're just going to let the floodgates open, we'll give this to everybody. No qualification at all. So the system generally is you go to a guru to get a mantra, and the guru says, okay, and you usually have to be from a Brahmin family even to go, or Kshatriya Vaishya, that's okay. But generally Brahmin family, you go to the guru. So you have a certain lifestyle, and the guru says, okay, you follow this lifestyle, then I will initiate you. So then you get initiated, and then you get the mantra, because if you're not initiated, then when you chant the mantra, it doesn't work. So you have to have some standing in lifestyle, some purity in lifestyle, and then you have to have initiation, and then you get the mantra. And then the guru has to be bona fide also. So for the mantra to have power, has to come from a bona fide guru, and you have to be a disciple who's initiated, and then it'll work. And if you're a Shudra, forget it. You won't get the mantra. You have to work your way up the upward mobility to a higher caste. And then you can get the mantra. And if you are a Malecha, which means you weren't born in a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya family or Shudra family, but lower, like you're just outside of Varnashram, then, you're lucky if anyone in Varnashram will even say hello to you, basically. That's how it is, right? So what to speak of getting a mantra that probably won't even acknowledge you exist. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I'm trying to paint the picture. It's like the Malecha means outcast. You're outside this culture. So even the Shudras in the culture don't get mantras. What to speak of people outside, right? So my point is, there's qualification. There's some qualification you have to get initiated. And then when you're initiated, then you get the mantra. And so what do? We get a big pile of mantra cards, and we go out on the street, and we stop anyone and everyone and say, here, chant this mantra, and your life will be sublime. It's a lot different, isn't it? We don't say, sir, I got this mantra, it'll change your life. You have to follow these principles. Can you do it? He says, okay, I'll initiate you right now. Here's your Gayatri mantra. Now you can chant this mantra. Yeah, like, how's that going to work? How would the Hare Krishna movement spread like that? How many devotees would we have? Like 200, and they'd all be in India. So Mahaprabhu was looking at the qualifications of people in Kali Yuga, and he said, well, they're really not qualified, so we'll have to remove qualification. And we'll give a mantra that doesn't require anyone to be initiated. It's powerful. And what makes the mantra powerful? Not your initiation, but the way you chant it, the avoidance of offenses. So if you can chant without making offenses, you don't have to wait for initiation for the mantra to work. It'll work right away. Isn't that cool? Is that cool? You don't have to be initiated, just start chanting. So you don't have to be a Brahmin, you don't have to be qualified. You just learn there are 10 offenses in chanting, and you do your best to avoid those offenses. That's how the mantra works. It's not like some magic, your guru taps you on the head, and then you just chant the mantra half asleep or any way you want, and it works. Because that's what people think. Well, the mantra in itself is power, and I just have to say it, and it'll work. But we understand the Maha Mantra doesn't work that way. And generally, no mantra works that way, because unless you have a sattvic lifestyle, then if you get the Gayatri mantra, that won't work. So there are standards for which the mantra can open up and reveal itself. And so you get the mantra from someone who can explain to you how to open it up. Here's the key to open up this mantra. What's the key? Avoid the 10 offenses. And have faith. And if you have faith and avoid the 10 offenses, and you chant the mantra, then the love of God will start seeping into you. And the first symptom will be you'll feel ecstasy, you'll feel happy, you'll start to become detached, and you will be on your way to prema just with this one process. That's all you need. And it can lead you to the highest level of prema in the mood of the residents of Braj, spontaneous love, Bhag Bhakti. That's amazing, because that was never affordable. It was never possible before. You could not, in Mahaprabhu coming in other ages, you could not go to Braj. You could not have these realizations. You wouldn't be able to understand the intimate, loving exchanges of Radha and Krishna. So we're not really qualified for that. But Mahaprabhu said, whatever. These people are so bad, it's Kali Yuga. Let's just show mercy on them and give them everything they don't deserve. Just because it's been a long time they've been in the material world, and I miss them and I want to help them. And we don't need to figure out why Mahaprabhu did that. It's just that he did it. So now the realization, I think, which is obvious, is that we're very fortunate. Yes. Tell yourself, I am very fortunate. Every day when you wake up, tell yourself, I'm very fortunate because I'm in the right place at the right time with the right mantra and the right association. And now all I have to do is make myself fortunate. I am fortunate, but I have to make myself fortunate. I have been given the seeds, I have to plant them. That's the title of this lecture. You've been given the seeds, now you have to plant them. Okay, so Mahaprabhu has come. He's given you a mantra which can which has in it the potential to develop love of Krishna. So I read something yesterday which wasn't meant to be humorous, but I thought it was humorous in a transcendental way. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, when you get the holy name, it must be explained by a guru what it is and how to chant it. He said, otherwise, the holy name will just be a sound. It'll just be letters. Hare Krishna. It'll just be syllables. It'll just be a sound and you'll hear it and you won't get much from it. You won't understand it. You won't know how to use it. You won't experience what it is. It's like some science and you don't understand it. And the science is extremely intricate and interesting, but you don't have the capacity to understand it. So to you, it's like, oh, this is nothing. I don't understand this. It doesn't seem to be anything. So the Maha Mantra can be like that. It just seems like nothing. I can't understand it. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, we need the guidance of the Guru to understand what's lurking behind the syllables of the Maha Mantra. You understand lurking, Rasika? It's like a horror story, what's lurking behind the door, who's there, about to come out, what monster, is it 100 pounds of gold? Is it a hobgoblin? Is it a ghost? Is it a dead body? What's lurking behind the door? It's like, what's there? We can't understand it. We don't know. That's what lurking means.
Thank you, Gurudev. I didn't know.
Yeah. So we thought of doing a documentary. The documentary is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. What's lurking behind these sounds? Isn't that interesting? Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, there's something much deeper that the average person doesn't know or can't access. But you have to, if you want to know it, if you want to experience it, you have to be able to access it. And so the Guru, you get the Maha Mantra from someone who can help you access it. That's the idea. So you're initiated, you're given the mantra by the Guru, and the Guru is the one who's teaching you how to chant it. He's your Harinam Guru. He teaches you how to chant it. So once you learn how to chant it, then you begin to experience the depth of the mantra, what it is, the power of it, and then you get affected by it. You become detached, your narthas go away, and you gradually move up from Shraddha to Prema, just by chanting. That's all you have to do. Sound good? Okay, so here is maybe the most important thing I want to say. And I'll probably say it over and over again, just to make sure we understand it. And I'll try to say it from some different points of view. If you do an in-depth study of the theology of the holy name, like you just read everything Prabhupada says about the holy name, you read everything Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says about it, you read everything Bhaktivinoda Thakur says about it. As you know, those of you who are students or academics, if you read a lot about one thing, you kind of get to the essence of what that one thing is. It becomes very clear, right? You read this author, this author, this author, and they're all pointing you in one direction, saying it slightly differently, but they're saying this is the essence, this is the essence, this is the essence. So if you read everything that Prabhupada says about the holy name, everything Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, everything Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, one thing becomes clear. And I will explain it through an example. You have no lights in your house, and you're looking for something. And the closest light is a street light that is 100 yards away. Do you think that you're going to get enough light to find it? Will that street light provide light to find something? It's 100 yards away, and it's in your house somewhere. And you've got walls, right? Okay, You've got windows, but it's night. How much light do you get in your house from a street light 100 yards away? Probably not enough to find it. Definitely not enough to read a book, right? Not much light. Are you with me, everyone? Is everyone with me? You got this analogy? Do you know what that light is? That light's the holy name. And you know what the distance is? Offenses. So you have a light that's lighting up a whole street, but hardly any of that light is getting in your house. Now, if you could take that light and bring it in your house, it would light up your whole house, right? You'd see every dirty spot, every particle of dust, everything would be seen. So what all the acharyas have said is, Mahaprabhu has given you a gift. It's laden with Krishna prema. But it's like that light. And offensive chanting is, the light is so much at a distance that pretty much it's insignificant. It's not enough light to be able to function. You need more light to be able to, you can hardly even find anything in your house. There's no light. It's not enough. So it's offensive chanting is, it puts the true nature of the holy name so far away, it's so distant that there's no spiritual benefit at all from offensive chanting, like nothing. It's just, yeah, in this example, let's say the light's too far. There's no light even in the house. Your house is still dark, even though the light is there. That's offensive chanting. So that's why we hear these statements, but like Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, if one is committing offenses, he can chant 100 rounds a day and not make any advancement. You think, how could you chant 100 rounds a day and not make any advancement? By studying what we have learned from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what he means to say is, you're actually not chanting. That's not really the holy name. Krishna is not there. So what does it matter? 100 rounds of no Krishna or 1,000 rounds of no Krishna, it's just zeros and there's no one in front of it. So it doesn't matter how many zeros you have, it's still zero. That's basically what he's saying. And it's not generally what you hear in ISKCON, because of course, we're giving the holy name to everybody. So we just say, chant. Everybody chant, and you will benefit, and it's true. But when you become a practitioner and you take sadhana seriously, it's actually different. Because when you're not a devotee, you chant Hare Krishna, it relieves you of all your karma, like one Hare Krishna, and you've done Agyata Sukriti. So now you're in this ideal place to go further in your bhakti. But if you don't go further, you don't go further. If you don't take up seriously chanting, you've just, your karma went away, and now you're just creating more. And you've got some Agyata Sukriti. Maybe that will bring you to begin seriously chanting. So it has benefit for a person who doesn't know, but for a practitioner, it has no benefit. And actually for a practitioner, it's harmful to chant with offenses, because if Krishna is his name and we're chanting with offenses, then we're offending Krishna by our chanting. And what's the point of that? I knew this devotee used to address the deities, and she told me, every time I address the deities, I always stick pins in the deity. And I'm like, how can you do that? And it's like every time you address the deity, you're pinning the deity. It's like Hare Krishna, So the Shastra says, sometimes it's better to stay distant from the deity because you can offend the deity. So if you're at a distance, you're too far to offend. Sometimes it is said, stay far from your guru, because if you stay far, you can't offend. Of course, now with social media, you can be anywhere and offending. So I guess that verse doesn't work anymore. But you understand the principle, So we, stay far from the holy name, because if you chant it with offense, it's just going to make things worse. Of course, we don't say that. We say continue chanting because you don't want to stop chanting. But in a sense, if I'm doing something and it's offensive to Krishna and I keep doing it, it's obviously hurting me. So that's why the light is so far away, there actually is no light in your house, even though there's light on the street. That's offensive chanting. That's when you're committing the 10 offenses, or seriously committing them. And the only thing you can get from that is something material. So you're not getting what Mahaprabhu came to give. He came to give you love. If you chant offensively, you don't get love. You get, maybe you get a new car. Chant your way into a new car, because the holy name it's considered pious activity. You'll get some pious credits, but nothing spiritual from offensive chanting. So back to our theme, Mahaprabhu's mission is to give us love. He spices the holy name with love, the highest love. So that's how we get what he's giving. He puts it in the holy name. Then you have to use the holy name to get, here's a gift. Oh, I have to open it up. It's wrapped in such a way, it's so hard to open it up. Come on, why don't you open it up for me? And then I open it up and it's a cake. Oh, I have to cut the cake. Why don't you just put it in my mouth? So much work. So, but that's how it is. You have to open up, or maybe you got me some like new computer. Oh, I have to figure out how to use this computer. Yeah, well, if you don't figure out how to use it, you can't use it. So yeah, you do have to figure out how to use it. Yeah. But here, I'll give you a book. We've got lots of books, how to use it. Sachinanda Swami's got 3 books. Bori Jan's got a book. I've got a book. There's hundreds of lectures online. This is to show you how to use this computer, the holy name computer. So you have to do that. So the instructions, meditate on this because this is important. All the instructions you get on the holy name are instructions on how to chant without offense. That's what it all boils down to, whether it's directly an instruction to chant without offense, or indirectly glorifying the holy name, so you appreciate it, so you will chant without offense. All the instructions are there just to get us to chant without offense. So Mahaprabhu gives the gift. I'm coming to give love of God. It's wrapped up in the holy name, and all the instructions the acharyas are giving are how to chant that holy name without offense, so that you can receive the gift he's given. Pull off the wrapping paper so you can taste it. Ever see something? You ever get like a sweet bowl or something and it's wrapped in some thin plastic and you didn't know and you ate it with plastic on it? So this sweet bowl tastes horrible. You ever say a devotee, I don't like to chant, it's boring. Yeah, why don't you take the plastic off? You're eating the sweet with plastic on it. Of course, it doesn't taste good. Yeah. So the acharyas are showing us how to chant without offense. That's taking the plastic off. Now, using this analogy, because this is a very good analogy, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses this analogy. He says, according to the way you chant, you're at a different distance. So like, the light is so far away, it's like you look at the light and you see it's very light around the light, but down at your house, there's no light. So that's offensive chanting. Well, we move the light closer. So there's some light shining in our house. Not a whole lot, but I can kind of see things. I can't see everything, but I can see something. So I'm getting some light. That is called namabhas. Now, namabhas is interesting because you can't go from offensive chanting to pure chanting unless you go through namabhas. So namabhas is the stage in which we are now consciously making an effort to avoid the offenses. And I want to clarify this, because when you consciously try to avoid making offenses, it doesn't mean you're always avoiding them. It only means you're trying to avoid them, because as we know, as conditioned souls, sometimes trying to do something in Krishna consciousness is like, okay, I'm going to run and jump 10 feet in the air. I'm going to high jump 10 feet. Yeah, okay, try it, see how it goes. You know, it takes a bit of practice. I don't even know what the world record is. How high do they jump? I don't know. I could jump, I high jumped 5 feet when I was in high school. So they, let's say 7, 8 feet, they're high jumping, but you can't just, okay, I want to do this, I'm going to do it. So a lot of times we want to do something in bhakti and we go, I'm going to do it. Yeah, really? You're going to do it? Yeah, I'm going to do it. And then you try and you realize, oh, it doesn't work that way. You have to become purified to be able to do it, right? It takes time. You have to practice. So when you perfectly avoid the offenses, that's called shuddhanam. When you're reducing the offenses through your effort, that's called namabhas. That stage in between. So that's the stage. The first stage is offensive, and you get nowhere spiritually. The second stage, it's reducing the offenses. As the offenses reduce, you move closer and closer to shuddhanam, and that stage where you're not making any offense. The holy name appears, and you start singing the song, which was sung by Ray Charles, I think. I can't stop chanting, I'm losing my mind. Do you know that song? What were the original words? There was a song like that by Ray Charles, I think. I can't stop. I used to know that song when I was a kid, but Nirantara changed the words, and I don't remember the original words. Maybe I can't stop loving you, I'm losing my mind. I can't, but as funny as it sounds, that's the actual description in Shastra. When you come to Shuddhanam, you can't stop chanting, because at Shuddhanam, the light is in your house. And the whole reason we don't have taste is because we make offenses. And the whole reason someone has taste is because Krishna's in the house. That's Krishna's beautiful. He's tasty. He's joyful. He's blissful. So you have taste. And that's why when you chant good rounds, it's more tasty than when you chant bad rounds, because there's more of Krishna, right? It's kind of like, you know, you want something to drink. I go, good. You want some lemonade? You say, yeah. I take 1 drop of lemon and I put it in the water and I give it to you and you drink it. I thought this was lemonade. You go, yeah, it's lemonade. This is, yeah, I just wanted to give you as much lemon as you have Krishna in your mantra. So you get some realization that this is what your mantra is. It's watered down and it doesn't taste very good, right? Yeah. This lemonade doesn't taste very good. Yeah, well, either does your mantra taste very good, because it's watered down. You've just got a drop. And so as you move towards Shuddhanam, you get more lemon and you get your sugar or your maple syrup or the taste of your particular rasa of choice. And then it's so good, you could just drink it all day. And the more you drink, the more thirsty you get. You want more, and you just drink forever. So that's Shuddhanam. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was just listening to a lecture by Satchidananda Swami. He's so funny. I don't think he meant this to be funny, but I thought it was so funny. He says, "My dear devotees and my dear skeptics," because he was saying things that he was thinking, you know, some of you don't believe this, but this is how it is. I feel that a lot when I speak. Sometimes I feel like, the devotees really believe this? They think, you know, is he making this up? Is this in the Shastra? Is this, you know, is this what Prabhupada said? Yeah, my dear skeptics, yes, it is. Guaranteed. I promise you 108%. This is what Prabhupada said. So the point I think is obvious, that as you move towards the pure name, your taste increases. So what happens in the stage of namabhas? That's where you become purified. You don't get love of Krishna, but you get everything else. So you get freedom from anarthas, you get steadiness, you start to get taste, everything comes. And then when we can chant purely, that's called Shuddhanam, and that's where Prabhupada says, when you get to Shuddhanam, you get Shuddhanam, you get love of God. So the goal is to go from Namabhas to Shuddhanam. How do you go? How do you go there? By not committing offenses. Now, that's clear. Is that clear? Should I say more? Did I make it simple enough that even a 5-year-old could understand? I think it's pretty simple, right? So it's a continuum. We're starting here. This is Nambas, and it goes up to here. There's the junction of Nambas and Shuddhanam, and then there's where you get love of Krishna. So obviously you're getting closer to love of Krishna, right? You're getting closer to the light. It's getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. So have you ever chanted a holy name that was very bright? Sometimes by accident, just mercy comes and it's really sweet and you feel really enlivened. We've all had that, right? Some mercy drops from the universe and we don't even know why. Well, it drops from Krishna. And sometimes we have the opposite experience where, we got up early, we read verses on the holy name, we sit in our asana, we sit up straight, and we start to chant, and it's the worst rounds we've ever chanted. Hare Krishna. And so the process is we try. Sometimes the light comes closer, sometimes it comes further, it's further away. But as you keep trying, you get closer to the light. The closer to the light, the more enlivened you become, the more blissful, the more realizations, and so forth. Now, there's another element, ladies and gentlemen, my dear devotees and my dear skeptics. There's another element, which is faith. Because without faith, why would you even want to try to chant without it? Why would you even want to chant in the first place? So there has to be faith. I believe this name is Krishna, and if I chant it purely, I will get love of Godhead. So that's the motivating force that's pushing us. So that's necessary, it's foundational. How does this faith develop? By associating with people who have a taste for the holy name, we see, oh, it works. But I think there's something else, which is it's so obvious that sometimes we don't think about it. If you study the process of becoming purified, it becomes obvious that in Kali Yuga, without the holy name, forget it. Don't even try. You might as well just go back to sleep. But can I read the Bhagavatam, worship the deity? Yeah, you can. But if you don't chant Shuddhanam, you're going to have to come back in another life and start and work your way up to Shuddhanam. If you don't have that, it's not going to work, right? So we see so many advanced devotees in ISKCON. How do they become advanced? Because they're chanting purely. That's where our faith comes from. Oh, this works. In our own life, we see it. If I chant purely, it works. If I don't chant purely, I'm back to my old self. If I chant purely, I'm like some other self. I don't even recognize myself. I'm blissful. I've got a million realizations. I want to go out and save the world. If I don't chant well, I'm like angry at everybody. I don't want to do anything. We see it in our own life, right? The holy name does work. Why wouldn't we have faith? It's in front of us. Also, not only do we see it working in our life and the lives of other devotees, but these acharyas who are descendants of the spiritual world are telling us this is it for Kali Yuga. Krishna is in his name. It works. Who are we to doubt them? That would be like the stupidest thing we could ever do. Well, I don't know about Jiva Goswami. I got a thing or two to tell him. Like, completely insane idea, right? Like, well, Rupa Goswami, yeah, I mean, I know we follow Rupa Goswami, but, then you've got, some rationale why you doubt him. Doesn't make any sense. Who are we? Who are we to doubt? So we have these great acharyas telling us this is Krishna. We have the examples of our life and the examples of advanced devotees, how this has worked. So that faith is motivating us. And so it's very, very important for all of us to understand that in the entire gamut of our spiritual life, if you take out pure chanting, pretty much you're not going very far. We can't. It doesn't work in Kali Yuga without a pure holy name. That's what works. And if you have nothing but the pure holy name, you have everything. And if you have everything but the pure holy name, really you have, I don't want to say have nothing, but I'll say it anyway. You really don't have, you basically have nothing. Oh, yeah, but I have Krishna, I have my deity, I have the Bhagavatam. Okay, fine. Doesn't it say? It says right there, any of the 9 processes. Yeah, in another age. But this age, it's not, and this is deity worship is not for this age. And here, but what about Bhagavatam? Well, it's also kirtan because you're reciting Bhagavatam, but specifically the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna Maha mantra. That's everything. So you and I, all of us, we can become very, very advanced with the Maha mantra. So everything boils down to this in our spiritual life. Everything boils down to this chanting without offense. That's what it all boils down to. All your deity worship, all your hearing Bhagavatam, all your Sangha, everything. It's all helping you become purified enough to move the light closer. That's what it's doing. All that is moving the light closer. So now when you chant, you realize more of Krishna and you become more purified by the chanting. And you're coming closer to offenseless chanting. Hare Krishna. So now, then this all becomes obvious. I want to share a realization that I had. It's kind of a funny realization. Sometimes I feel like I'm trying to become Krishna conscious and I am who I am. And so you can't be better than who you are. You just are who you are, right? And so, we have a certain level of advancement from our past life. We have a certain level of intelligence. We have a certain number of anarthas. We have a certain level of sense control, determination. It's kind of, this is our makeup. This is who we are, right? And if I'm just going to go on my spiritual life with who I am, I'm going to lose the race because I'm not fast enough to get there. So when I chant my rounds, I often think, you might think this is a strange thing to think of while you're chanting, but I'll explain it. It's not strange. I think this is my competitive advantage. So if I do these 2 hours right, then I'm going to be like up there with the fastest runners in the race. And if I don't, then I'm going to be back with the slowest runners because I'll just be running on my own strength, whatever past samskars, past piety, past devotional service, intelligence, determination. I'll be running on that. But if I get the pure holy name, competitive advantage, I can be up in the front because that pushes me. The pure holy name pushes you up so fast to places you could never get by your own strength. Do any of you ever feel like that when you're chanting? Like if I don't chant well, I'm just me. I'm just like, I have to be me today, right? And if I chant well, I don't have to be me. Thank God. Because being me is really depressing, right? Being me is just like, if I'm going to be me, it's like, a million more births, so I don't want to be me. So the holy name has come as the Yuga Dharma. So if I don't do it right, I'm completely blowing it. It's like, I got this gift. What's in the package? It's 20 pounds of gold. Oh, too much trouble to open it up. I'll open it up later, I'll open it up tomorrow. That's what we're doing. It's too much trouble to chant. You got to concentrate. You get up early. I don't know. Yeah. So I think it's really powerful. When you connect with the holy name, you're moving up in Namabhas. You're getting closer to the light. You're feeling inspired. You're getting realizations, and you realize this holy name is it is for me. It is everything. It's actually for all of us. It's everything. And if I can make every possible effort to be present to the holy name, to pray to the holy name, to avoid offenses, to respect the holy name, to welcome the holy name, to be present to the holy name, to pray to the holy name, to let me, as Jiva Goswami says, chant with love. That's the best chanting, to chant Krishna, Hare Krishna, just whatever love I have. To do that, if I can do that, competitive advantage, then in this life, I'll become Krishna conscious. Now, I want to say something, which I hope it doesn't ruffle your feathers too much, but it's my duty to say this. If a devotee says, I don't think I'm going to become Krishna conscious in this life, there's two reasons. Number one, they're so Krishna conscious that they say that. Number two, they're so not Krishna conscious that they say it. There's only one or two reasons. So if you say it, I'll put you in the second category. I'll take a wild guess. You're in the second category, not the first one, right? I don't think I'll become Krishna conscious in this life. All right, yeah. So you either have prema and you said it, or you're making offenses to the holy name, and that's why you said it. And that's my point. If we're chanting properly, if we're moving up in Namabhas, getting closer to Shuddhanam, you won't feel that way. You'll feel like, wow, this holy name is so powerful. I can actually see that I could be Krishna conscious in this life. So therefore, if you're feeling, I can't see how, I'm so contaminated, I'll never, blah, 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 I would say to you, go down your checklist of offenses, because you're probably not chanting properly. Because if you are, you won't feel that way. Now, I had to say it and I said it, and I hope you take it in the right way. This is not to judge anybody, and someone could object to what I said. This is just what I've understood. Now, Prabhupada said something really interesting. I don't know if you ever thought about it. He said, if you criticize a devotee, it's an offense, right? So I make the offense that I criticize the devotee. It is an offense against the holy name. So that means my chanting is now offensive because I'm offending a devotee. And so if I'm chanting offensively, what will be the result of offensive chanting? I will offend the devotee. It's a vicious cycle. So sometimes we just think, well, if I offend a devotee, then my chanting will be offensive. But you can look at it the other way and say, because I'm offending a devotee, my chanting is offensive. So you can see it both ways. We tend to see it one way, isn't it? We just tend to offend a devotee, bad chanting. No, but if I'm offending devotee, it's a consequence of bad chanting, and it works both ways. I will chant poorly, but the reason I'm offending is because I'm chanting poorly. What came first, the chicken or the hen? Doesn't matter. They go together both ways. So any of those offenses you can look at and ask yourself, am I making those offenses because I'm chanting offensively, or I'm chanting offensively because I'm making those offenses? The answer is probably both. That's just the way it works. So hopefully I've made it clear from this class that if you want to become Krishna conscious, chanting with offense is absolutely not an option, because it doesn't work. And so everything Prabhupada is teaching us in chanting is to learn how to chant without committing the offenses. And then you might say, well, what offensive am I making? Because, I'm not vilifying devotees. I'm not making up stories about advanced devotees and saying they're not devotees or they're sinful, or criticizing, great acharyas because they weren't born in Brahmin families. These are the kind of things. And I don't disrespect my guru. I have great respect. I don't believe Lord Shiva is the same as Krishna. I have faith in the Vedas. I'm not committing sin on the strength of chanting. I'm not talking about Radha Krishna Lila to the average man on the street. So let's try to hone in on what might be an offense. Let's go to the 10th offense. The 10th offense has a few offenses in there. Not have faith. Okay, so you can ask yourself, do I have faith? Maybe I don't. Maybe that's why I'm not chanting well, because I don't. Or maybe I don't have faith in, I think, yeah, I have faith in the holy name. It just doesn't work on me. No, that's because you're not chanting properly. So Prabhupada said, does it mean that Krishna is contaminated because I'm chanting his name and it's not, and nothing's happening? He says, no. Doesn't mean that the name is contaminated. It means that contamination is the person who's chanting. So Nabhaved Grayam Indra, your senses, if they're materially contaminated, you can't access Krishna. So one of the offenses is to maintain material attachment. And specifically, that means to think that I am still the enjoyer of this world, the enjoyer of this body, the enjoyer of this tongue, eyes, ears, nose, to put myself in the position of enjoyer and chant the holy name. So that's a problem, and I want to explain why. And Anuradha, I'm just going to keep talking into the japa class because I don't think I'm going to end now. So you can just like turn it off and on again or something. So this week I was talking about this at the japa workshop this week. We say, well, I know Krishna is the enjoyer. I'm not. Okay, that's in your head, right? What about this? Have you ever chanted and while you're chanting, you're thinking, this is so tasteless. This is so boring. I just want to taste something. I just want to be happy, right? Ever felt that way? We all have, right? So not always is it bad, because sometimes you're thinking, Krishna, I'm bad. I'm not tasting your name. It's a sign that I have a problem. Please help me. So taste would be a symptom that the disease is going, like jaundice. Please let me taste the sugar is sweet. When will that day come that it's sweet? That's a sign I'm cured. So that's fine. But sometimes it's just, I'm not happy and I want to be happy. And I can't chant. It's very, what? Me, the enjoyer. I want to enjoy chanting. Now I'm back to enjoyer mode, because that's our default. I'm the center of the universe. And sometimes I let Krishna in and sometimes I don't, because it just depends on the day, what's going on. So Krishna, I'm chanting and I'm not happy. Okay, what's wrong with that picture? Yeah. So now, this to maintain material attachment means to be in the bhav of Purusha, the enjoyer. So I'm chanting to enjoy the holy name. And what did Prabhupada say? No, you're the servant of the holy name. That means give the holy name to others. Krishna is the holy name. Serve him. He's the enjoyer. We chant to please him. All of that. And that's why I always tell devotees, when you're chanting and you're kind of then just chant to please Krishna. Just think, okay, it doesn't matter if I have a taste or not. Just chant to please Krishna. That's all that matters. I told a devotee this week, she said, I just chant to be happy. I said, this week, don't chant to be happy. Just forget about being happy. Put off happiness for a week. See how this week goes. And I'm sure this will be the happiest week of her life, because all the unhappiness comes from putting ourselves in the center, trying to be happy. And as soon as you get out of the center, try to make Krishna happy, that's when the happiness comes. So do we sometimes chant putting ourselves as enjoyer, yes. Do we sometimes think about sense gratification? I want to enjoy this and that. Let me buy this and that because I will enjoy it. Of course we do, but that's an offense to the holy name, believe it or not. Isn't that interesting? Think, like we need house, we need food, we need clothes, we need so many things. But when it goes beyond a threshold of what is normal and necessary, we start entering realms of sense gratification. Yeah. Do you need a car? Yeah, I need a 2022 Mercedes SUV. Really? That's what you need? Couldn't do with a Toyota? No, I need a Mercedes. They're more comfortable. They got those warm seats and it's really cold here. So when you're getting on that level, that's a sign that your chanting is not working. Gormani, we're just continuing class because we've been talking about chanting. So Prabhupada explains that when I in any way think I'm the enjoyer, that's an offense to the holy name. Because the offense is to think I'm the body. If I think I'm the body, then I want to enjoy the body. So if I think I'm servant of Krishna and I do everything for Krishna's enjoyment, that's not an offense. But if I think I'm the enjoyer and I'm chanting Hare Krishna, get my 16 rounds done so I can go out and enjoy because I'm the enjoyer, or let me enjoy my 16 rounds, let me enjoy bhakti, then I'm still identifying with my mind or my body. And so my chanting is offensive. Now, the other thing is inattention. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, inattention really means to be inattentive, means to be attentive to material desires. So it's similar, I'm thinking about my material life. But we understand in our own life that inattention is kind of, it's kind of an impersonalism. Like Krishna's there in his holy name, he's present. We know that. Theoretically, we know it. He's present. And if it wasn't true, nobody would have become purified by chanting. It would have been the biggest scam ever pulled on human society. You chant this mantra, you become purified. And we're just believing we're becoming purified. And therefore it's happening. No. We're becoming purified because Krishna's there. We're in the fire. We're becoming cleansed. Right? So Krishna's in front of us. He's in the holy name. And what are you thinking about? Krishna's in front of you, and what are you thinking about? What I'm going to have for breakfast, maybe. What I'm going to do at 10 o'clock when I finish my rounds. Think about that. Think about that. Gabrielle is talking to me. She's pouring out her heart. And I'm thinking about breakfast. And I don't hear a word she says. That's impersonal. It's not in Mayavad philosophy. It's just an impersonal relationship. So Hare Krishna. Yeah, you're getting purified. You're my devotee. You're going to come back to Godhead. And we're thinking about ourselves. Have you ever done that? Think about yourself and all your problems while you're chanting. I mean, if you think about your problems that are obstacles to bhakti and praying to get purified, that's fine. But just thinking about your problems, I'll have to control this and that. Hello, there's someone you're chanting to, better controller than you. Did you forget? He's really good at it. He's been doing it forever. And he's way better than you are. It's more powerful. What about him controlling? You can just forget about your problems. Just, okay, Hare Krishna. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said something amazing. He said, this inattentive chanting causes all the other offenses. And I always thought, how could this one offense be responsible for all the other offenses? Because if Krishna's in his name and I'm avoiding him, I'm inattentive while I'm chanting, right? That means that's offensive. If I chant offensively, then I'm going to criticize devotees. Then I'm going to commit sin on the strength of chanting. I'm going to do all these other things because if I chant offensively, there's no benefit spiritually. So then I just continue being my conditioned self, making offenses. So I would want to end this talk just by saying that if Krishna's in front of us, we should pay attention to him, don't you think? And essentially, avoiding offenses just means paying attention to Krishna and offering your love through the holy name. Okay, Krishna, you're here. I just want to, we had this little thing that was sharing at the end of the retreats. So we had this thing, clear the space, like just clear the space so you of your life so you can chant. And this one devotee, we said, what's your realization? She said, my realization is clear the space and bring in the love. So that's it, that's japa. First, clear the space. Now the kitchen's clean, Balabhadra. Now bring in all the fresh ingredients. Clean the space, nothing there. No, not about me, what I have to do later. And then bring in the love, those ingredients of, bring in the heart, offer. That's it. So this is what Mahaprabhu came to give us. And this is how we open the package and utilize the gifts, by not making offenses. And then we get closer and closer and closer and closer to the light. And as we come closer and closer, the chanting becomes more blissful. And what happens when it's more blissful? You stop saying, oh, I have to finish my rounds. And you start saying, wow, I want to chant more. This is really blissful. I really like this. I'm really connected. Hare Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. So, Gauramani, we are starting a series on talking about Mahaprabhu, and I thought we need to start with the gift he gave. So we were describing the gift, and we described the gift comes in a package, and offensive chanting, which is apathetic, is like, oh, the package, I got to open the package. Well, there's 20 pounds of gold in there. Yeah, but it's so much trouble to open the package. Here's the holy name, love. And just how do you open it? Chant without offense, the package opens. How do you utilize the gold? Chant without offense, you utilize it. So that was the idea. So how to appreciate the gift and utilize the gift. That's what he came to give. And if we don't utilize what he came to give, then he's not happy and we're not happy. And that was not translated. Was it translated in Spanish, Rasinka? Yeah.
I think
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to unmute because the class.
Anyway, you have people on Facebook, right? No?
But yeah, I have some people.
Anyway,
There are some people on Facebook.
Hare Krishna. Okay,